Now that we've already had our first surprise snowstorm, I decided it was time to take care of a few garden-related tasks before the real winter weather hits. I started by removing the hose from the house faucet, draining out the excess water, and storing the hose in the garage. And with some below freezing temperatures in the forecast, our rain barrel was also going to be at risk. All the recent snow and rain has kept it completely full for the past week. I really don't know what to do with all the water, and I didn't want to waste it, so I decided to empty it out near our new hugelkultur beds, hoping that at least some of the water would soak up into the wood buried inside the beds and help it decompose. While that was draining, I unscrewed the downspout diverter and carefully removed it from the downspout. It's a tight fit, but it's still pretty flexible. I occasionally went back and moved the hose so the water could reach all 3 hugel beds. Then I replaced the diverter with the winter cap that came with the kit. This not only keeps water from spilling out of the downspout, it also keeps birds from getting in. Sorry friends, you'll have to make your homes somewhere else. The last thing to do here was to unplug the drain hole to get the rest of the water out of the barrel. This diverter kit does not come with a screen to filter the water as it enters the barrel, and we wound up with a lot of debris collecting at the bottom. I've already had to clean this out once during the summer. So I'm working on a design for a cage that can hold a screen inside the barrel over the inflow hole. That would catch most of the debris that comes in with the water, and then I could easily remove the cage to empty it out. Next, I harvested the last of our pole beans, which turned out to be our best crop for the year. They turned even more sweet and tender after the light snow that we had. I chopped the plants off at the base to let their nitrogen-rich roots decompose into the soil, and worked on removing the vines from the trellises. This took some time, but I made sure to get every last bit so I could add all of that material to the compost. Then I pulled out all 3 trellises and set those aside. I have to say, I'm really happy with this design. They work great for tall climbing veggies, and I definitely prefer the wire mesh over the netting material we used last year. I usually store these in the garage over the winter, but before I put them away this time, I wanted to set them up in their new location. I've decided to install them on the north ends of our new hugelkultur beds, where they'll provide much more sun than we're currently getting in the raised bed garden. I use 4-foot rebar stakes for these, and I hammer them about 1/3 of the way into the ground. Then I can just slip the trellis over the rebar. We plan to grow mostly tomatoes on these, but we'll try to rotate them with other things like beans, cucumbers, and squash. The rest of the beds can be used for peppers, eggplant, onions, and lots of other annual crops. Currently, the hugel beds are densely planted with crimson clover as a cover crop to increase fertility. Crimson clover is quite cold hardy, so it will keep going for a while yet, but at some point this winter, I'll have to mow this down with hedge clippers and cover the beds with wood chips. In the spring, we can just make holes in the wood chips and plant directly into the soil. Alright, fun's over, time to put away the trellises. They just barely fit into the garage with all the other garden stuff that's currently in there, so I'm very much looking forward to the day we can build a shed for everything. The last thing I did, for now anyway, was to rake up leaves for mulch. I just planted our garlic and I wanted to make sure that that would be safe when the temperature drops. The rest of the leaves can stay right where they fall, which is great for the new food forest edition. This had a decent first year, but there's still a lot of space to fill here with more herbs, native wildflowers, strawberries, asparagus, so many possibilities. One thing's for sure, we don't need any more comfrey. So I've mentioned a few times before how our raised beds are not very productive. I suspect the beans did so well because they're a legume and they have some help from nitrogen-fixing root bacteria. Almost everything else was a major disappointment this year, so we didn't plant a fall garden. This lettuce is just about all we have left now. I've never been so happy to see lettuce. For my next video, I'll talk more about what might have gone wrong here. I'm not an expert and I don't have all the answers, but I do have some info that I'd like to share because it might help you avoid the same problems. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.